This video is about me attempting to fix this Flushmate toilet. This is pressure flush toilet thing. It's 13 years old and it had a crack in it, and I thought I might try to fix it. I checked out the warranty card, which I didn't send in, and that turns out to be important. But anyway, it's it says that it's warranted for 5 years, and so this is 13 years old, and so I thought, well, let me just see where it's leaking. It looked to me like it was leaking at a seam, because I could sort of peer in there and see the water squirting out near the seam. So I thought, oh, maybe I'll just try to fix it. So here you see that it's shooting out there, and it's hard to see, but it's right near that seam. So I went ahead and started taking it apart, and this is from the underside there. Got to take the tank off. I don't show the removal of the supply line, but I of course had to do that. Got this side off, and then went ahead and got the other side off here. And these were nice brass nuts and bolts, and they weren't corroded at all. It came off nice and easy. So got the tank out and I had to get rid of the water. It's not supposed to have any water at all in that tank. All the water's supposed to be in that plastic inner tank, the pressure tank. So encountered this big huge gasket, and then the big huge nut underneath, and it was not finger tight, so I had to figure out a way to get that off. But first I had to get rid of these, or at least move these, so I could get my I have like a oil wrench, or what do they call it, spanner wrench, I don't know what you call it, this big rubber band thing here that I'll show you, and got rid of the brass bolt there on the one side so that I could get this around it and twist that big white plastic nut off. This is obviously connected to the big plastic pressure tank that's on the inside, and so I was able to shake it loose there and get this going and get that pressure tank out, so I could look at it. So my plan was, if it was just a seam that had sort of come apart, I thought maybe I'd be able to glue the seam back together. So take off the where the supply line comes through the China tank. And so the China tank is basically, in this situation, it's just they're getting the water out of the tank is sort of a pain here, but dripping all over my bathroom. But I definitely didn't want to mess up that China tank, because it's easy to drop it and crack it or something. So anyway, I had to disengage the mechanism for the flush mechanism, and then I was able to pull the pressure tank separate from the China tank, and take a close look at the problem area there. And so I'm looking for a crack, and I'm not seeing it. I look along here, and it looks solid to me, but I thought, oh, what the heck, I'll go ahead, and this is the next day, I'll go ahead and I'll use my Dremel to carve out a little slot. So I'm looking in with a magnifying glass and a loop, actually, and I cannot find a crack anywhere in that thing that that channel that I carved out with my Dremel. And so well, what the heck, I'll go ahead and throw some JB Weld in there. So I put JB Weld in that crack or that channel that I dug out, and then I noticed that there was a little white line beneath the place where the upper and lower tank connected. And see that it's white there, it's white, and then that white part goes away. So basically, I think that was the problem. So I thought, well, this is probably not going to work, but yeah, so even though it was probably not going to work, I put some JB Weld in there, And you know, I had to go very shallow because I didn't know how thick the tank was there. So it wasn't very thick, but I figured, what the heck? And so I hooked it up the next day, and turned on the water, and as you might predict, because that channel was so thin, or wasn't very deep, there was really nothing for the JB Weld to bond to, and so yeah, it was not good. So I went to Plan B. So I went on to the Flushmate site, and they actually had a kit that you could order to prevent this problem. I think that was this problem it was trying to prevent, but they offered me a 60% discount on a new tank. So I went ahead and purchased the new tank, normally $116, and I got a big coupon off there, so it only cost me 46 bucks or so delivered. And so here it is a couple days later, nice quick shipping, and very minimal instructions on how to install it. There's some sort of usage instructions, but there's not really any installation instructions. Not that I really needed it that much. New warranty card that I'll probably not send in. Some basic instructions, and so I guess I took a look at the old one, and I saw how the gasket was and the you know sort of realized how that was done. And so I just repeated that. The design hasn't been changed. There's this tank-to-tank gasket. It's like a rubber gasket that is on lines with the plastic tank with the China tank, and basically just stick it in there and sort of reverse the order, of course, that I took it apart in. Get this big white plastic nut on there and tighten that down, and I guess that when I set this in there at first, it felt like it was sort of hanging up on the supply line, where the supply line came through the China tank, and it wasn't sitting really that flat and square. But once I tightened down the supply line, it sort of squared up where that large the bottom of the tank came through perpendicular, as opposed to at a little bit skewed angle. So that's why I've got that supply line, where the supply line comes through the China tank. I got that tightened down already when I'm doing this, because that made this seems like it's more square and not askew. So next step is to assemble some of these, this is a big mushy gasket, and when you tighten it down, you know, put this tank on the bowl, you gotta sort of scared me, because you gotta sort of tighten those bolts down quite a bit. Took advantage of you're not supposed to put any chemicals at all in the plastic tank. I put a little bleach in there. So anyway, I did get the sort of the warranty kit, and I was sort of surprised that the warranty kit didn't come in the box with the Flushmate tank, but it was separate, and it turns out it came a couple days after the new tank. You basically just slip that. There's a video, by the way, an official Flushmate video that you can use to sort of see how to do this, but you just slip it under the supply line and then scoot it over and screw it on. It seems to prevent the bottom of the tank from pushing away. Well, it's very simple and quick to install. You don't have to take anything apart hardly to get this kit added, but of course I already had it off. So yeah, here's just restoring the nuts, the brass nuts that hold the tank in place, getting those installed. And this is one case where if you're not used to doing this, you got to make sure you don't torque those down very tightly, because I mean, they have to be, in this case they don't have to be very tight at all, because you're not too worried about any water leakage, but if you tighten those too tight, you can crack your porcelain, which would be bad. And then lining this up, it's a little bit of a challenge to get get those two bolts to slip down through the the matching holes in the tank here, or in the bowl piece of china. Glad I managed to do that. And then there's the removal of the flush mechanism, and had to move that over to the new tank, which again is very, very simple. A couple of screws hold that in place. And then as part of the warranty kit, there's this pressure reducing thing that goes on the outside, and this is all hand tight stuff, so you don't have to really have any tools at all to do this. I think the only thing you have to do for the warranty kit is just have a Phillips head screwdriver. And well, actually, you have to have enough oomph to get it off, to take it apart, which might need a wrench. Anyway, turn on the water, and the sound of success. So, of course, no water in the china tank. All the water is contained in the plastic tank. So there you have it, all finished. And I'm not sure this flush is quite as powerful as the previous one, but that's about it. Throw the instructions back in the folder, and I guess we're good enough to last another 13 years, hopefully. Oh, by the way, this one was warranted for 10 years instead of 5, so that's good. Well, hope you enjoyed it.